Welcome to Tuscaloosa, everyone. We're inside Coleman Coliseum. 8 teams are competing for 2 spots in the NCAA Gymnastics Championships. Tuscaloosa, one of 4 regionals, enjoying competition today as we will eventually end this road in Fort Worth with the crowning of a national champion. In the day session, Alabama, fresh off winning the SECs, will be the top seed alongside Arkansas, Iowa, and Iowa State. And in the night session, Oklahoma, one of the top teams in the nation, will be in action. Auburn, by the way, not here, bitten by COVID protocols, and so the Tigers had to withdraw. There will only be 3 teams competing tonight. And once again, good afternoon, everyone. Sam Gore, honored to be alongside Ashley Miles-Grieg, a former NCAA Gymnast of the Year and 4-time national champion. And Ashley, we are so thankful to have a postseason, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Due to the pandemic last year, the postseason was canceled and no national champion was crowned. So they're looking to really get after it today. The goal is always to be on the floor at the national championships with a chance to win a title, and they start here with that.
Well, here in Tuscaloosa, we're one of 4 regionals. What are your headlines for this regional?
So Alabama has momentum and history on their side. They're coming off their 10th SEC championship, and they've never lost a regional when they've hosted. Arkansas is really looking for redemption after a disappointing 7th place finish at SECs. Coach Weber said they're going to come here and try to do what they've done all season, which is score big. And this is also arguably one of the most competitive sessions in the entire NCAA bracket, with only 8 100ths of a point separating these teams by NQS.
It is going to be a tough fight. Alabama has quite a streak on the line. Dana Duckworth's team, as we mentioned, has never lost a regional that they've hosted. They have the top gymnast in the SEC on this squad, Luisa Blanco. You'll see a lot of her tonight as well. So again, we have a different look. If you're used to watching our dual meets, screen's going to look a lot different. Don't adjust your picture because you're supposed to see those 4 boxes. All 4 teams will be going at one time on a different apparatus. In the opening rotation, it'll be Iowa State on Arkansas on bars, Alabama on beam, and Iowa on floor. And we will have coverage of all 4 of those at the same time. When one routine is finished, we'll reduce the number of boxes. And again, the top 2 teams that finish this afternoon will compete tomorrow in the regional final. So, leadoffs are underway. Ashley, why is this leadoff spot so important to a team in this type of competition?
Because it sets the tone for the rest of the gymnasts on that event. Namely, the balance beam is one you always look for, a solid competitor that's going to be very consistent. Arkansas on bars already had a break in the beginning of that routine, and she just got back up as she's still kind of struggling through that. A little bit of a break there before the giant pull to double tuck, but she finishes that well.
Again, your scores will be in the top right. Phoebe Turner just nailed the landing on that vault. Turner has been the leadoff in vault all year this year, and when her score pops up, you'll see it on your screen. Again, the idea today is to finish among the top 2 teams after all the rotations, and then you'll advance to the final. Emily Hong about to go on the vault for Iowa State in the top left. And on the beam, Alabama's Alon Kloffer has just finished.
And she had a great routine, Sam. She stuck that landing. That's the last thing that the judges see. And you have to stick it, don't move your feet, and sell it, which she did. So a really good start for Alabama. On vault, a Yurchenko full. That was a huge vault, good form throughout. She gets really good distance as well from the horse. So that's going to be a good score on the vault.
Killian wrapped up her floor routine in the bottom right. So I guess that's one thing you need to know. Iowa State's in the top left, Alabama's in the bottom left. And then we move up to Arkansas in the top right and Iowa in the bottom right. And that's how you can keep track of each performance, each gymnast, and we'll do our best to stay on track as well. Obviously, the vault is going to go faster. You were a vault champion yourself multiple times. Is it good to start with vault?
Yeah, vault is a good rotation to start on. It's what they refer to as Olympic order, which is vault, bars, beam, floor. So from a very young age, that is the event that you're used to starting on. That's called Olympic rotation. So Iowa State probably very, very comfortable starting out on the vault. And again, it's just one of those ones where you can get all your energy out in the very beginning, and they look to be doing a good job with that.
Still waiting for our first scores to come in after each team has completed their first gymnast going through this opening rotation. 6 gymnasts will go on each apparatus.
We've got another big Yurchenko full with a stuck landing. They are nailing them over there.
That's Kelsey Boychik, top left.
Shallon Olsen on balance beam just nailed her flight series of a handspring layout step out. She looks really, really comfortable up there. Alabama is a beam squad. They had a record performance, and actually it came down to that event at SEC, so they were really excited about starting on the balance beam here.
And speaking of records, Alabama has an NCAA record, 32 regional titles. They have made every regional since 1982. They are the favorite in this afternoon session. Oklahoma will be the favorite in the evening session.
That handspring double twist for Shallon nails the landing, and Alabama is still underway, very consistent.
The overall scores are in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Alabama on the beam with a 9.85 to start Iowa's 4 routine. The opening was 9.825.
On the bar is a huge release move immediately into an overshoot. She'll transition to the high bar. I want to see if she can hit that last handstand, just slightly short. The judges are going to look for that. Gearing up for a full out dismount, and again, nailed that landing. She's got to be happy with that.
Rutz had a 9.25 on the bars to start for Arkansas. That's a good score for Arkansas, and now we'll see what Jemfaga's score is. Another successful vault for Iowa State.
Yeah, you saw the reaction there. She did a Yurchenko 1.5. That was a blind landing, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to stick, and she almost had it. So they're over there banging them out on vault right now for Iowa State.
Double check.
Watch this beam mount. That is one of the most scary looking beam mounts to me, but she does it every single time perfectly. Back flip and has to catch the beam. Very, very beautiful beam worker. She's just flowing right through this routine. Side aerial split jump, nice amplitude, toes pointed. Anytime her foot leaves the apparatus, she's a very beautiful gymnast to watch. Nice toe point. Everything's extended through her entire body. There's that required full turn. And then she'll show off a little bit of her flexibility here. Look at that.
Wow. Gaskins on the beam, bottom left.
A lot of action going on. That handspring layout, step out, flight series. She does her flight series a little bit later in the routine. A lot of times that's just to get settled into everything, since it tends to be one of those skills that you can come off on. Huge vault there. Gainer full off the side, and what a salute. I think her head almost went down to the mat on that. Very good performance.
It's been a good start all over the gym. Everybody has stuck the landing so far.
Good bar performance going on, as well as floor going. And one of the things, you can hear the crowd noise. There's not a lot of crowd due to the pandemic, but they are creating some major energy, which they've done throughout the entire season, just really having a good time. Floor, one of those events where athletes really get to display their personalities and, really just have a fun time.
There may not be a lot of crowd, but there's a lot of gymnasts in the building, Ashley. And they are their own tier squad. This is a sport a lot like softball, where you can hear the team screaming the entire time. The best score we've had so far, each team's completed 2 gymnasts going, is Greenwald of Iowa on the floor. She had a 9.9. Final vault is about to take place. Steinmeier had a 9.875 is for Iowa State in top left.
Another 1.5 blind landing. They really are getting some height and amplitude, and their form is very, very good on their vaults. So again, that'll probably be another big score for Iowa State on the vault. She didn't quite find the landing on that one.
So as each team finishes a rotation, we will reduce the number of boxes to reflect what's still happening. So a vault is finished for Iowa State. And so now in the top left, it's bars.
That wolf double turn on the balance beam, one of the most difficult moves. You'll see some athletes do one turn. She did a double. You'll even see some folks do 3. You really have to have your center of gravity perfect every single time on that. Switch leap, split jump. She had her flight series earlier in the routine with just the only balance check that I saw so far on this balance beam routine. It was on the flight series. She's gearing up for her dismount. Handspring 1.5. A little off to the side on that 1.5, a hop. So of course she'll take the deduction there. Shaposhnikova release move over on the bars into an immediate overshoot to handstand. Very, very nicely done.
And one of the features of this meet that we have neglected to mention is the fact that we will have some individual competitors whose teams are not here, but they earn their way through their NQS, their national qualifying score. And so one of those individuals going on the vault in the top left-hand corner. But Iowa State finished their rotation. Iowa has had a very good floor routine in the bottom right. Scores of 9.825, 9.9, and 9.875. Alabama has not scored lower than 9.85 on the beam so far.
So really putting together some solid performances, starting on the balance beam, which again, like I said, they were excited about. They love the beam.
Dana Duckworth telling us this week that this team just hits routines. They're very good at not making mistakes.
And speaking of that, Makari Doggett on the balance beam now, she had described her as an aggressive competitor, which you'll definitely see as she works her way through her beam routine.
Doggett, also a Scholastic All-American, as a lot of these gymnasts are on all the teams. In fact, Alabama's team GPA this year is a 3.62.
That's pretty impressive. Yet not surprising. Beat jump to a switch quarter there. She had a slight bend at the hips. Her hips weren't really square and didn't get that all the way around, so that will be a slight deduction. And again, here she just needs to settle into this beam routine and take her time. A few balance checks. Side aerial into a full. Doesn't give anything away on that. So she made it through that beam routine nicely. Just a few slight balance checks.
Emily Gaskins has the best beam score for Alabama so far at a 9.9. The vault is over for Iowa State. Their team score 49.35, so they'll carry that score into the second rotation when it begins, once all these other rotations are finished. Kaji of Iowa on the floor now. Bottom of her
for her pass and a stuck landing over there on the bars from, I believe, Kennedy Hambrick, one of their superstars.
Hambrick won 6 titles this year on bars. And the only team to finish the first rotation so far is 49.35, so that's the score to beat for the other 3. Nice celebration going on down there at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, yeah. They are putting together some nice routines over on the floor right now.
Again, 2 teams will advance from this regional to the national championship. 2 teams will advance from this session to tomorrow's regional final. There are 4 competing today, 3 competing tonight since Auburn had to withdraw due to COVID protocol. So this will be the final
format. I was just going to say, this format for regionals as well, the top 2 teams, they have another night to go. So this will be the first time this season that the teams that make it to tomorrow out of this session, they'll be going 2 days back to back. That could be tough on your body. So they're really just trying to be steady, consistent, and solid.
How do you prepare for that, Ashley? Because gymnasts are so disciplined and methodical in their training. This kind of breaks the routine.
It definitely does, and a lot of coaches will do training sessions back to back, multiple days, just really trying to get them prepared for the toll. Has Luisa Blanco there, that handspring layout, that was beautiful.
Luisa Blanco. Go ahead, Ashley.
I said I've been so impressed with, as just a sophomore, her success and how solid she is.
She is the SEC Gymnast of the Year. Nailed bar.
Yes, that was huge. That was huge. Double layout, and she zipped it right into the ground and did not move. Arkansas definitely doing here so far what they failed to do at SECs. And Luisa Blanco as well. Stuck double twist landing like she never finished where she left off. Of course, they're screaming 10. She may get it. That was a beautiful routine. Good landing there. Lots of height. Giving virtual high fives, keeping their distance. And I think that there was an eruption because Blanco might have done something big on the balance beam. I'm not sure yet, but the reaction looks like a 10. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I believe that's the first one of her career. She's been close so many times, but she finally got that elusive 10. Good for her. Special moment right there, for sure. Last competitor on floor usually tends to be one of the strongest performers to close out a rotation, and this is her specialty. Her specialty is floor, a huge full in the tucked position, just so much height, good form. You can tell she is a gamer when it comes down to floor. Switch side, straddle jump, half straddle jump. Nice combination there. You're actually watching the 2021 Big Ten champion on the floor exercise along with her teammate Henderson, who we saw prior to her in the 5th spot in the lineup. And you can kind of see why. Very powerful athlete, having fun out there. Front through to a double tuck. Just the slightest bit short on that landing. That'll be a little deduction. Back at the end of the conclusion of the first rotation, Alabama went 49-5 on the floor. Tuscaloosa Regional vault. Michaela Maxwell had a season high at 9.925. Arkansas on the uneven bars went 49.375, which is the highest of the season, and a record 10.0, the first perfect 10 for Luisa Blanco, the SEC Gymnast of the Year. We're going to look at some of the highlights here from the first rotation. For Arkansas, you've got Schaefer on bars, a beautiful bar worker, Shakashnikova over to a beautiful handstand. And watch this dismount, double layout. Couldn't see it on the other one before, but a slight hop back, just really good forms. We've got Maxwell on the vault, huge vault. Luchenko 1.5, line landing, nails it. Good form, good amplitude, good distance. Now coming up on the balance beam, we've got that perfect 10 that we've been talking about after the first rotation. Luisa Blanco, look how perfect she is. Back handspring, layout, step out, nails it. She's been close so many times, but she finally gets it. Double twist and teammates, so exciting for her. What a great moment in the postseason to be able to come through with a perfect 10. How exciting. All right, here we are with the bracket, the 7 seed, Alabama, off to a good start in the first round. Arkansas, the 10th seed. In the evening session tonight, we've got Oklahoma, and Auburn is, as you can see, out due to COVID protocol, so there will be only 3 teams competing in that evening session. All right. 4 regional sites. There's 36 total teams, 16 seeded teams. The first round, 8 teams compete in 4 dual meets, and the winners will advance to the second round. The second round, 32 teams are going to compete in 8 quad meets, and the top 2 scoring teams in each quad meet advance to the regional final. And finally, the regional final, where 16 teams compete in 4 quad meets, and only the top 2 scoring teams in each regional will advance to the NCAA semifinals, where every team wants to be. We've got head coach Dana Duckworth getting her team ready to go in this second rotation, where they will be on the floor exercise, where they had one of their best performances at SEC's on floor. So look for them to really get after it immediately and try to put together a nice lineup and score big. Another thing that has become so awesome and fun for college gymnastics is, believe it or not, the leotards. You see all the sparkle, and they're so much more extravagant than they were 10 years ago, back closer to when I was competing. So it's always fun to see what they come up with. A lot of the teams in postseason will have new Leos. You see Arkansas, like the cutouts in the back, and more sparkle than I've ever seen. And it's really good to see fans, even young ones, here, really enjoying this meet. They're all masked up, and we might be looking at a future Alabama cheerleader maybe there, or even that. Got some Arkansas fans. You can always count on them to have the overall stripes with the funky hat there. And Iowa State really made a showing here too. You see they've got their color stripes. And earlier we could hear them very loud. So they really do have a good presence here. And they had a really good start. Even though they're in the 4th place after the first rotation with the 49.35, this is really close, folks. So we're getting ready to begin rotation 2, starting off on the vault. We've got Tolan. Nice Yurchenko full, gets good distance, nice position. And we're well underway. Going to focus on the balance beam for Arkansas. Nice flight series. Handspring layout, step out. Interesting way to do a full turn. You see that bobble she had there? Full turns seem to be one of the most simple skills, but it can cause major problems at all levels of gymnastics, those full turns. And she's really kind of bobbling through this on that front flip there. She had a slight bend in the hips. And she'll really just want to make it through this routine, not give away any other tenths. Because as we talked about earlier at the start of this session, the first competitor up on each event is so crucial to setting the momentum. And she finishes and gets done with that. That'll probably be one of the scores that they'll want to drop. We'll see what happens. Shallon Olsen for Alabama on the floor exercise. A very just naturally talented athlete. Double tuck, chest up on the landing. Shallon actually did not do her more difficult double twisting double back for her first pass. She went with a little bit more clean pike full in. So good start for Alabama. Good starting score for Iowa on vault with a 9.8. I know we were talking about the Leos earlier, and one thing that's significant about Alabama's is they brought this leotard back because we're approaching the 10-year anniversary of the tornadoes that devastated Tuscaloosa back in April of 2011. So they wore these Leos. The team chose to wear these to honor the strength and resilience of the community in a time of crisis. They really band together. We'll take a look at the vault. Another nice Yurchenko full, a little not as controlled on the landing as she probably wanted to be, but again, powerful gymnast, good form throughout, a decent landing. Switch sweep. Nice split there on the beam. Score for the first competitor up for Arkansas, 9.675. Again, I mentioned that's probably going to be a score that they're going to want to drop in this rotation. So it's crucial that the next athletes up all kind of hit, and on the floor, Klopfer fell on that second pass. Unfortunate there because she had a really good routine going. She'll just want to continue on and not give anything else away on this routine. She's been so consistent throughout this entire season, so that'll be disappointing for her, but now it's important for her just to finish strong. Gearing up for her last pass. Double pike, actually ends with a more difficult pass. She gets a little bit of bonus for doing that. Again, that'll be a score Alabama will want to drop. on the floor early in the lineup. Still plenty of competitors to go to get that good score. Yurchenko full on the vault again. You'll see that vault time and time again, but it's easy to pinpoint who does it the best, and that was a good one. That was a well-executed vault. Didn't quite get the landing, but they're doing what they have to do. They're being clean and just working through this lineup, one routine at a time. This is shaping up to be as close as we thought it potentially could be. These teams are very closely matched, even the top-seeded teams, Alabama and Arkansas. They're going to have to hit and be consistent, put together a full meet, because Iowa and Iowa State have the ability, as we've seen already, to score big. Nice handstand. She almost comes over and just almost saves it. It'll be deduction. She had an arch in the back. She does her release move there. The straddle Jaeger, overshoot to handstand. She transitions to the high bar. See if she can get this handstand. And she does. Very nice. Judges are sitting right on the side. They can see that. A blind change full into an immediate double tuck and a stuck dismount. They're nailing them over there on bars. On that flight series on the balance beam. She was off on that series, but she covered it up really well. That's the mark of a veteran. Again, just slight bobbles ever so often for Arkansas over on the balance beam. They're going to want to clean that up. Again, they've got that low 9-6 score that they're looking to drop. And front layout to a Rudy, or 1.5 twists is what that first skill is called. And after the fall before her, she'll just look to, this is Griffin James from Alabama on the floor right now. Nice lead combination there. She got that all the way around, no question about it. Teammates dancing along to the music on the sideline. Look at that vault. Huge, huge vault. Griffin really being very aggressive on that floor routine. That's going to be a good score for Alabama. Iowa on vault, stuck in that 9-8 range, 3 9-8s and 2 9-8-5s. We'll see if Henderson is able to get them to that 9-9 mark on vault. Blind change, straddle Jaeger over on the bars. Nice handstand to an immediate overshoot, putting together a very, very nice routine. This is Horowitz on the bars. Nice handstand there. She showed that one off. Just the dismount left. She gears up for that, a double layout, and she stuck it there just like she did in the warm-ups. Very, very nice routine. I think that'll be a good score for Iowa State on the bars. Again, on the balance beam, just the slightest balance checks from every single athlete we've seen so far. They're really going to want to settle in to these routines. This meet is going to be close. Again, slight balance check on that front aerial. Emily Gaskins on the floor exercise for Alabama, opening up with an E-level skill, a double layout. And she was actually slightly short on that. Switch lead half. She ends with a front tuck step out through to a double tuck and gets it all the way around, but just, again, the slightest chest down on that landing. And when you see this at this point in the postseason, that's one of the things you tend to think about, like we mentioned earlier, with having to go 2 days in a row. They really have to be consistent and solid both days. So a little short on the double layout and also on that last pass, so we'll see where that ends up. A full out with a stuck landing over on the bars. Does a really, really good job there.
And apologize for the difficulties, everyone, but Ashley, we like to get our analysts baptized into the process here full on. So you did a great job while my equipment was being restored back here in Bristol. So can't believe I missed the perfect 10. I didn't get to call that earlier.
It was amazing, and I didn't realize that we had lost you at that point, but it was quite the routine. She deserves it. She's been so close this entire season. She's went 9.975 a few times, so that
you
was
just
really
thought
exciting.
I was speechless. So we are into the second rotation now, almost finished with this rotation. Down to 3 competitors going at the moment.
Adams on the floor. She'll need to have a good routine. Double pike, huge. She gets very, very high up, but that landing was just a little off. See her ankles kind of flick forward a little bit on that. So, again, Alabama making some small mistakes here on the floor in their landings.
Alabama had a 9.9 from Griffin James earlier in this rotation. 9.875 was Olsen's score, but you're right, the 9.075 from Clocker is the second score posted. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Adams here. Alabama is the top seed in this session.
So far, a solid routine for sure.
Alabama has never lost a regional they've hosted.
Ends with a double tuck on floor, and again, another short landing from Alabama on the floor. They're really going to have to do a better job of these last few competitors of getting their chest ups on their landing.
Is that surprising to you that they would struggle a little bit on the floor?
It is, because it's, you know, day one of this competition. They shouldn't really be fatigued or tired, so I'm not sure what that's all about. It's been consistent. The last 3 athletes have been a little short.
It was such an emotional win with them winning the SECs last weekend. I was interested to see how they would come into this meet, whether they would be carrying over the momentum from that or feeling a bit fatigued from it, just emotionally.
Yes, and Dana talked a little bit about that when we spoke with her, how it couldn't be a good thing, so that it can also work against you. So what they did is they just, hey, take a few days, 24 hours to just revel in it, be very excited about it, and then, you know, let's put it in the back and move on.
Iowa State on the bars on the team right now is Arkansas. Hambrick finishing up this rotation.
And she really is such a strong competitor. She does the all-around. She is beautiful on every single event.
DeJesus about to go for Iowa State on the bars.
Hambrick nailed that dismount on the beam. Cartwheel gainer full off the side. Nice position, nice height. She floats it down and nails the landing net. That'll be a score Arkansas definitely needs to close out their beam. Patient.
Adams' score was 9.825 on the floor. So Blanco now going. She's won the all-around 5 meets in a row. She is definitely carrying a lot of momentum into this region.
She is, Sam. She's dialed in. She is dialed in. She had that one record-breaking performance where I think she scored the highest all-around total in the country, and she has not stopped or looked back since. That's what you want to see, folks. There, chest up, nails it right into the landing there.
Tied for second on the floor in the SECs. That was the only event that she didn't at least share the title in.
That's because the winner scored a perfect 10.
Which we just saw her for.
Yes, that's right. Really exciting stuff. And she closes it out, front layout. Perfect landing. She could be on the verge of something here again, Sam.
We'll have to wait and see. Alabama needs a good score to pick them up. I know they wanted to do better on the floor, but again, you just have to finish in the top 2 today to advance to the final tomorrow. You can always see where those scores are in the bottom right of your screen, the team scores.
Nice finish there on the bars. That individual all-around competitor.
Iowa State has wrapped up their bars, so they had a 9.8275. Iowa on the vault, 9.8625. Arkansas 9.8.7 on the beam. And I'm still waiting on Blanco's score for Alabama on the floor to find out where the Tide will finally finish. So we are sorting through our scores. We have completed 2 rotations here in Tuscaloosa. A spot in the regional final is on the line. Rotation number 3 coming up after this. Well, we have completed 2 rotations as we pursue 2 spots in the regional final tomorrow. And you can see how things have gone during these 2 rotations. Alabama, 9.8825 is leading after 2 rotations. Those are some of the individual scores. Career high from Kinlan on the ball for Iowa. And so we're getting closer and closer to determining which 2 teams will move on to the final. Hey, everybody, Sam Gore along with Ashley Miles-Grieg. And Ashley, we finished 2 rotations now. Has anything really stuck out to you?
I think the fact where the standings are, Alabama at top, then Arkansas, and then you've got, Iowa State. It's not surprising. However, I believe that they're going to be a little disappointed with the performances that they gave in that second rotation for the top-seeded teams. But there's still another half to go. They're just going to need to be clean, and Iowa and Iowa State are going to have to really bring.
How about some of the individual performances in those first rotations? We saw a perfect 10. Let's go through some of these performances.
You said you had Henderson on the vault. That's her specialty. You can see why. She doesn't quite get the landing with a big hop back, but look at the height and the body position in the air. And then on Iowa State, we have DeJesus, and she actually came off of the event, only went 9.575, so a little disappointing, but she came back and finished the routine, which is kind of what you have to do. Klopfer on the floor. Ends with a big double pike, even though she had a little bit of mishap in the beginning of that routine. And then on Arkansas, Kennedy Hambrick, superstar. I mean, what else can you say but handspring layout? Nails it, very solid. One of the only competitors that didn't really have those balance checks for Arkansas, so she definitely stood out.
So here's a look at the bracket. We are in the first session, Alabama, Arkansas, Iowa, and Iowa State. It is Alabama and Arkansas, the 2 seeded teams, both from the SEC. Two of these teams will advance to the regional final tomorrow night. And coming up tonight, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Maryland will be competing for the other two spots. A reminder that Auburn is not here, getting pulled out because of COVID protocols. These are the national seeds. And Florida and Oklahoma actually were tied for number 1, but a tiebreaker put Oklahoma into the number 2 spot. And anything stick out here with the way the seeds are this year compared to years past, Ashley?
No, I mean, at the top, it's generally what you would expect to see. You've got California at 5. That's exciting. There's been such an upgrade in the level of difficulty that we're seeing in college gymnastics, and more teams are having the opportunity, to really get in there and vie for a championship. There's a limited number of schools that have won in the history of the NCAA, and I think we're on the brink of probably seeing somebody that we haven't seen before win.
We know we will not see BYU. BYU was eliminated earlier today. But there are some surprises this year in gymnastics. Denver's upset in their conference championship.
Yeah, a bit of a shocker there to Oklahoma, who's not used to losing.
This is one of the individuals competing on the beam right now, or warming up, I guess. Again, we have our 4 teams, so there's some individuals who earned the spot to be here on their own. And there's a limited number of fans here. And, Ashley, to me, this is one of the sports that really misses the full arenas, because if you walk into a packed gymnastics arena, which just about every top team has, I always said it was like going to a Justin Bieber concert. There's like 20,000 screaming people at the top of their lungs with pyrotechnics and all kinds of stuff going on, and that we're missing that in gymnastics. But these teams and the fans that are here have done a good job of encouraging one another.
I agree, and with the limited crowds due to the pandemic, it's always fun to see, prior to that, new gymnastics fans when they come and they say, oh, there's 10,000 people at a gymnastics meet. It's exciting.
So Arkansas is on the floor now. In the bottom right, top left is the vault, which is Alabama. And that was Gaskins who stuck it.
She sure did. I think she's kind of had a knack for figuring that out the last few meets of the season, putting up some big scores with the Yurchenko full.
Gaskins getting a hug from Coach Duckworth. She's a Scholastic All-American as a news media major. And over on the bars right now is Lacavia Henderson for Iowa. She just finished her routine.
Didn't quite get that landing, but solid leadoff performance for them on the bars. Always what you want to see in that position.
Sophia Steinmeier for Iowa State in the bottom left on the beam, and over on the floor is Abby Johnston for Arkansas.
A little off balance on that landing on the floor.
Getting ready to go on the ball quickly is Shania Adams. And some breaking news from Athens, Georgia has been eliminated. So Georgia will not advance to the regional final in their own regional.
Shocking there for them, and I'm sure disappointing, but got to be on that first day. On the vault, Adams just going too hard, I think, for the stick on that one, and ends up landing short, bent at the hips. That is not going to be a score that they're going to want to count for Alabama on ball.
Alabama led through the first 2 rotations as Coach Duckworth comes over and talks to Shania. Very
uncharacteristic for her, especially on the vault. Which
the
generally
seeds are holding here so far, but definitely Iowa and Iowa State are still within striking distance.
That's right, and the top 2 seeded teams, like I mentioned in the last rotation, they're giving away little tints here and there. That vault that we just saw is an example of that. Arkansas on beam had slight balance checks, everybody except for Kennedy Hambry. So they're really going to want to settle in. And Shallon Olsen does one of the most difficult vaults that you'll see in college gymnastics, a Yurchenko double twist. She did it as best as she's ever done last weekend, a few weeks ago at the SEC Championship. So we're going to see if she can do that again here.
In the bottom right, we just saw Jordan Weaver, the former Olympic gold medalist, head coach of Arkansas, talking to her next floor competitor, Madison Hickey.
She's done such a great job with that program. In her second year, this is her first time to the postseason too.
Adams' score, by the way, on the vault for Alabama was 9675. That followed the 985 by Gaskins. And here comes Olsen.
Again, Yurchenko double full. Didn't get it that time. A little bit of form in the air, doesn't quite get the height that she needed to find that stuck landing, so she ends up landing short and taking a step forward. So not what they're going to want to do at this point.
Phoebe Turner is on the beam for Iowa State after the 985 from Steinmeier.
Some good start for them.
Again, on the floor is Arkansas. It's Madison Hickey.
Front full front layout. Very cleanly done. Middle pass. Phoebe Turner nailed that dismount on the balance beam. She's got to be really excited about that performance.
Getting ready to go on the vault. Alabama's posted 2 scores so far, 985 Gaskins, 9675 Adams. Olsen third, Blanco fourth, Quinn fifth, and Mitchell in the anchor spot at 6 on the vault.
We had a fall on the bars on that Shapashnikova. She fingertipped it and kind of came right off the bars. So she'll have about 30 seconds to regroup, figure out what she's going to do, and hopefully finish the team with no more errors. That's unfortunate.
Elisa Blanco getting ready to go on the vault in the top left.
See if she can bring them back on track. Yurchenko 1.5, again, like clockwork, 1.5, blind landing, nails it. Just the slightest hop on the landing there for Elisa, but other than that, beautiful vault.
She was the co-champion at the SECs last week with a 995 on the vault. And that bar routine over now.
So disappointing in that second spot for Rogers on bars, coming behind a 965 from Henderson. And that's typically a score that you would like to see drop. So hers, they will be counting that because she came off the score will be lower. Spring layout, triple flight series on the beam for Iowa State. She just nailed that.
Quinn getting ready to vault in the top left for Alabama.
Oh,
Quinn.
Again, she found that landing at SECs, but goes above and beyond there, over rotates, a deep squat going forward. So again, Alabama not going to be happy with this overall vault performance.
They've left the door a little bit open now. Arkansas was in second after the first rotation.
And they're rocking it on the floor right now.
Alabama still has one more gymnast to go, and you mentioned the floor. Panese is on. Panese, I should say. That's how you say it.
She's really having a good time out there. I believe this is going to be her last pass. There's a round off double tuck. Not the cleanest landing, but gets it. Stood up nonetheless, and she doesn't do a back handspring before that double tuck. So an interesting combination there.
So Panese finishes her floor. By the way, Blanco had a 9-9 on the vault a few moments ago. That's the highest score that we've seen in this rotation on any apparatus. And there's Jordan Weaver again having a conversation with her gymnast. Judges conferring up there in the top right.
Well, there must be something
bars.
going on. Usually they're very far apart maybe on the scores, and they're trying to figure out why. They may have not gotten the right start value on vault. Yurchenko full from Sania Mitchell.
Mitchell following Quinn's 9-8. The low score for Alabama on the vault was Adams' 9.675.
They're having to count that 9.75 from Shallon Olsen. He has the ability to score very big.
Carter up next on the floor for Arkansas on the bottom of your screen.
Still trying to figure out the score on bars.
Yeah, the bars has really been delayed here as a result of that. Score's just coming in. It was a 8-9-5 for Rogers, so now Hartzler can go on the bars. This is the third rotation of 4. Top 2 teams move through to the finals tomorrow night.
Beautiful release move on the uneven bars. And it's to a front full. Very difficult combination there on the floor. Executes it perfectly. Legs glued together. Good landings. Presentation is good. As well as the leap combinations here. You'll see she does a split. And on both of those rotations, her legs are above her hips and feet pointed all the way through. That's how you get good pictures in those splits, the way she does them.
So Mexi Simple about to go on the beam for Iowa State after the 9-8 from DeJesus. Alabama's now finished on the vault. That Mitchell score was 9.75.
Handspring layout on the balance beam. Slightest little balance check, but she covered it well. She kind of kept moving through that. There's that full turn that gives so many people problems from time to time, and she does it perfectly. Again, just slightly off on that combination, yeah. Switch lead. Split jump. A little bit of a longer pause between those two skills than what the judges are looking for, so she might see a slight deduction. And a side aerial to a full twist and a stuck landing on the beam. She's excited.
Simple will wait for her score. The best score for Iowa State on the beam was 9.875 by Turner. 9.925 put up by Carter of Arkansas on that last floor routine.
Yeah, they're so strong on this event. And that was bound to be a big score, the way she nailed every single landing and executed that routine flawlessly, just about. Oh, opened up a little early and came down. It looked like she might have tweaked her ankle on that a bit, the way she landed. She continues to go. Arkansas doing such a good job on the floor. Again, 1.5 twists, front tuck. She was never really quite set up going into that second part of that skill, so. Top-seeded teams having some difficulties.
We've seen 5 career highs already in this rotation. Turner, Boychik, Panizzi, Gaskins, and Hartzler all setting career highs. That's in the 4 different apparatus.
That's amazing. Good for all of those competitors in the postseason to score a season high. That's significant.
Most pressure-filled meet of the year.
And she just bails out of that last pass. She was probably supposed to do a double tuck, it looked like, or maybe a double pike, and just does a single flip, really just wanting to get off the equipment here. And I'm wondering if her ankles are okay on floor.
Their low score to this point is 9775 on floor.
And they're going to have to count that after that routine from Schaefer.
Jordan Reber coming over to check on her, and score hasn't been posted yet. Alabama's the only team that's finished their rotation. The vault typically goes quickest. So Arkansas will finish with Hambrick's floor routine. Horowitz is on the beam for Iowa State.
Nice routine from her.
And now back over to bars. Hartzler had just put up a career high 9875. It's one of those career highs that we've already had in this rotation. 5 new career highs for the gymnast. This is Kaji of Iowa.
Good start. Inverted grip into a straddled Jaeger. Very difficult gymnastics there. Pack salto. She'll change this into the high bar. This is a good routine. Nice handstand. The judges are sitting on the side so they can see if she got all the way up. Double layout. That's going to be a big, big score for Iowa on bars. That was a beautiful routine.
Iowa has put up 2 9875s in a row. We'll see if that score beats it. Iowa, the Big Ten champions, their first Big Ten title.
Coming off that level of excitement, it's like they've got some momentum that's carrying over into this regional for them as well.
One of the individuals going now on the beam, not part of one of our 4 teams. Arkansas needs a good floor score. Hambrick, the final performer for Arkansas on the floor.
And again, she contributes in a big way on all 4 events. As you see here, beautiful first pass. She's a very steady, consistent performer for them. Fun combination there. The leap out of the tumbling pass. When you do that, you don't necessarily have to worry about the landing as much.
Hambrick has not scored less than 985 all season.
That's impressive. Nice combination right in front of her teammates on the side. Nice routine for the individual competitor. At regionals, a lot of times when you're the individual competitor, your team may not be there. Whatever the team that's competing, a lot of times adopts you and kind of brings you in and pulls you into their energy. So that's always fun to see.
That's what Iowa State was doing just there. On the bars right now, Kinlan, the final competitor for Iowa, just with that stuck landing.
Yes, and she nailed that too.
She was following Kaji's 9925, which is another career high. So we've had 6 career highs put up in this rotation across the 4 teams.
I'm looking at her reaction. I like that celebration. It might be. That was huge, Kaji. That routine was unbelievable.
Kaji had the 9925. And then we're waiting for our last couple of scores to come in to end the third rotation. And we are headed into our final rotation, where at the end of it we'll know our two teams that are going on to the regional finals tomorrow. Well, drama building inside Coleman Coliseum, where Alabama has surrendered the lead as we head into our final rotation. Now Arkansas is leading the meet at the moment. Alabama and Iowa now are suddenly tied for second, and Iowa State is still within striking distance of them. So we're heading into this final rotation, Ashley, and it's still up for grabs.
It really is, Sam, and the talk of that rotation is Iowa on the bars. I mean, wow, they put together such a strong performance. At this point, that first spot, it's anybody's game.
So let's take a look back at some of the highlights from this last rotation. 6 gymnasts put up career highs.
Got Emily Gaskins here from Alabama, 985. Yurchenko full and just drills it. That was their first vault up, and she nailed it. It wasn't until we saw Luisa Blanco, who we're going to take a look at her vault here, she went 9.9, that we saw another really virtually perfect vault, just about, the slight hop on the landing. So again, she continues to do what she's been doing this whole season. DeJesus on the balance beam, that handspring layout, nails it. She was just very solid. She's been such a strong, solid competitor for them all season. Cartwheel into the double twist, stuck landing there. And then on the floor exercise, Arkansas 9.925 from Sophia Carter. Wow, all her tumbling was perfect. She gets nice height, nice amplitude, double pike there. You see she ends. The leaps and jumps in between were perfect as well. And then Kaji on Iowa. We talked about their bar rotation, lots of season career highs. She was a pack salto there. She was virtually perfect, hit all of her handstands, and look at that landing on the double layout. Big reaction from her.
So we are headed into our final rotation, where 2 of these teams from the second round day session will advance to the regional final tomorrow. Tonight we'll have Oklahoma, Missouri, and Maryland competing for the other 2 spots. We've already had one upset today. Georgia hosting at home did not move through. Now, they were not seeded, but most people felt like Georgia at home would be tough to beat. It was Minnesota and Denver. Denver continuing their hot streak after the upset of Oklahoma. And Florida, Illinois, Central Michigan, NC State in the night session down in Athens. We are a little further south in Tuscaloosa, where the Tide has slipped into a tie for second place with Iowa. Arkansas is in the lead. So what do you think about Alabama heading into this final rotation, Ashley?
I think they're going to be tested once again. They're going to have to be solid. They're going to have to be clean, I believe, from start to finish to secure their spot. I mean, as far as Arkansas, they've moved into the lead. They had some mishaps on the floor exercise as well, save for just a few competitors. So again, the top-seeded teams, we've been seeing it all day, just leaving the door open for Iowa and Iowa State to possibly make a move. Alabama tied with Iowa right now, so they've got to be excited.
Yeah. Well, this entire weekend leads to Fort Worth. The national championship this year will take place in Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. 8 teams will advance this year to the national championship, 2 from each of the 4 regionals. The semis on ESPN2, and then the actual national championship on ABC, April 17th. Here it is in print. We are in the regional portion of the NCAA Gymnastics Championship. Specifically, we're in Alabama, Tuscaloosa. 2 teams move from here into tonight's session, and then tomorrow 2 teams will advance into the national championship. Alabama has a streak. They have never dropped a regional in which they hosted in the championship this year. It's a new format. Last year's postseason was canceled, so it's actually the second year we've had a new format where only 8 teams advanced to the championships. All 8 SEC teams qualified for regionals, but as we just showed you, Georgia's out. 4 of the top 10 national seeds are from the SEC. And Oklahoma and Florida, no surprise, once again, the favorites heading into this weekend and certainly to win the national title as well. We'll see Oklahoma here in Tuscaloosa later tonight. So just to reset, we're heading into the fourth rotation. The top two teams after this rotation will move into the finals tomorrow night. Iowa State will be on floor, Arkansas will be on vault, Alabama will be on bars, and Iowa will finish the day on beam.
How exciting for them to have this opportunity. I'm sure they know how close this is. Really want to make it to tomorrow.
Arkansas leading heading into the fourth rotation with a 148 score. Alabama and Iowa at 147.85 and Iowa State at 147.5. Still up for grabs.
Good stuff. Arkansas will probably finish first because they're on the vault and that event just goes very quick.
Panizzi up first, Savannah Panizzi in the top left-hand corner of your screen.
Popular Yurchenko full, sticks the landing, and a good start for them.
They wanted to reset after a disappointing seventh place finish at the SECs, and to this point they've certainly done that.
For sure, much better job.
Boychuk on the floor for Iowa State, and up on the bars is Jinsey Gibbons of Alabama. Henderson on the beam for Iowa.
Nice handstand from Gibbons. Here's up for dismount, double layout, nails it. That's what Alabama's gonna need to do in this rotation to secure their spot. So good start for them.
Just need to finish in the top two.
Double tuck dismount on the balance beam. You don't see that too often in college gymnastics. Very exciting stuff.
It was Henderson with the impressive finish. Abby Johnston getting ready to vault for Arkansas in the top left-hand corner. Still in the floor routine is Kelsey Boychuk.
And you could see on that vault that she was going to land short, and it looks like she tweaked her ankles a little bit. There's limping. She came in so high off the round off that her hands barely touched the horse. So that's dangerous stuff there, coming with all that force just landing on her ankles. So she's going to want to shake that one off. And I hope she's okay. Looks like she is.
Panizzi's opening score was 9.825 for Arkansas on the vault. We'll see what Johnston puts up. They'll get ready for their third vaulter. First floor routine is finished for Iowa State. Boychuk completes it. Henderson had a 9.825 off that impressive beam dismount. Given score coming in at 9.85 for Alabama on the bars, the opening bar routine.
It's a good solid score to start Alabama off on the bars. Shikova, Pat Salto, pirouette, nice playing routine. Arkansas with a solid vault after that fall. Just the dismount. Watch this position on the double layout. Drills the landing. 2 for 2 on the landing so far for Alabama on bars.
We had a 9.85 with Gibbons. We'll see what Gaskin's score is.
Difficult first pass that we just saw on the floor. Front double twist.
Steinmeier, Iowa State.
Very solid competitor for them as well.
She's following Boychuk's career high 9.85 on the floor.
She's been on. After that last pass. Taking a few extra seconds there to catch your breath. Double pike and wow. Oh my gosh, you could see when she took off that she wasn't going to make it all the way around. That's scary stuff.
Steinmeier goes down hard for Iowa State on the floor, immediately being attended to.
It's so hard to watch that stuff. And you could see before I could see that she was a little winded going into that last pass. She took an extra second to take a deep breath, and she hit her head. She landed face first and jammed her ankle as well. So they're having to carry her off to the side. I hope that she'll be okay.
That is Sophia Steinmeier, Iowa State. And sad to see her day in that way. And possibly the season for Iowa State. They were in fourth place heading into this final rotation. Vault still going on for Arkansas. Remember, Arkansas was leading heading into this final rotation. They put up scores of 9.825, 9.25, and 9.825. But Alabama strong on the bars so far, 9.85 and 9.9.
They're rocking it out. That last routine was just solid as well, so putting up some big scores.
Alabama's trying to wrestle that lead back from Arkansas. Ellswick.
Big vault.
Mikado getting ready to go on the bars for Alabama in the top right. Killian will be going next on the beam for Iowa. Getting down to the end of this afternoon session. Tonight, though, we'll see the number 2 seed in the championships, Oklahoma. They're the last national champion.
Solid flight series on the balance beam by handspring layout. Good form, nice execution. Doesn't move an inch. Another strong vault, blind landing. Your cheek at 1.5 almost gets the landing.
That was Amanda Ellswick looking to put up another good score for Arkansas. As Arkansas has definitely made a big step towards shaking off the memories of the SECs last year. But there's another good bar routine by Alabama.
Yep, top-seeded teams are doing what they need to do. So is Iowa on beam. Side aerial, tuck full, nails and drills the landing.
Came into this final rotation, all 4 teams had a chance to finish in the top 2.
1.5 back layout, gets real good height on that.
And right now, slightly into second place. And they did lead after the first 2 rotations. Arkansas got the lead back after the 3rd rotation. Alabama on bars has put up 9.85, 9.9, and 9.85. Ellswick just scored a 9.9 on the vault for Arkansas. So Arkansas is trying to solidify finishing this first session in first place.
That's right, because that does have a bearing on the rotation for session 2, or for the final, I should say. Kari Doggett. Huge Tkachev into an immediate pack salto. She is so beautiful on this event. She just flows through it so easily, nails that handstand, and if she can get this landing or the layout, which she does, that could be a huge score for Alabama. It will be.
Well, she's following a huge score of Adams, who had a 9.95, so what a way to finish for Alabama.
Yep. Adams set her up perfectly for that.
And they still have Blanco to go. For routine, Diab for Iowa State finished her routine, and De Jesus going now.
Nice opening pass on the floor.
In advance on the beam for Iowa.
Spring layout solid. Side aerial. Nice beam routine.
Arkansas is now finished. Hambrick's final score is 9.85, so their total score 197.250. Blanco is waiting on Doggett's score and to be given the green light for her final bar routine of the day.
Yeah, Sam, the bars we talked about earlier, the team seems to be lagging behind, short, taking a little longer.
So the good dismount by Kaji.
I like her celebration. She had a good one on bars too.
Here's Blanco following a 10 by Doggett.
Oh my
Doggett got
gosh.
the perfect 10. And
I
so
knew it would be
Alabama-
good.
It was perfect.
That is amazing.
So let's see if Blanco can go back to back. It's happened before.
Wow, another solid routine. I did see a little form break in the first handstand in the beginning. So it may not be a 10-10-10, but that'll definitely be a 9-9 plus score for sure for Blanco.
Well, Alabama had a 9.95 from Adams, then the 10 from Doggett. Let's see what Blanco finishes with. This is important. Now, Arkansas is finished with a 197.25 score. So Arkansas is going to the regional final.
Yeah, that's Alabama, I think, probably solidified that top spot. We'll see.
Kaji awaiting her score on the beam. Maldonado on the floor for Iowa State.
Very difficult first pass, a front double into an immediate tuck. A lot of skills there, and you can see she stepped out of bounds, and then on the balance beam, we have another unfortunate fall for her. Let's see if she's okay.
Finland collided with the beam after she stumbled. She never made it up on the beam. Blanco's final score, by the way, 9.975. So your judging was correct, Ashley.
Very close. I think it was just that first handstand that did it.
What
Otherwise,
a
we
way
might
to
have seen
finish. And Alabama, more importantly, has retaken the lead. And so Alabama now has jumped over Arkansas into first place at the end of the day. And we're waiting on Iowa State to finish on the floor. And then on the beam, Finland is shaking up a little bit, but looks like she's going to be able to finish.
Yep, she's going to restart here. They only have 30 seconds to get back onto the equipment once they've had a fall, so glad to see that she's okay and able to go.
So Iowa State has been eliminated. Alabama in first place, Arkansas in second. Iowa with their final gymnast on the beam in third. Again, the top two teams will advance. Now we can confirm it'll be Alabama at least going tomorrow into the final. They have that streak of never having lost a regional when they host. But they were behind coming into the fourth rotation.
Nice full turn. And how impressive that she was able to gather herself and get back up there and do a routine like this. If only she could have done that from the beginning, would have been a big score. Tumbles into her dismount and made it through that. She still looks a little shaken up.
Yeah, that was scary. I'm so impressed to see her get back up and be able to complete that routine. And speaking of completing routines, Phoebe Turner will be the final gymnast of the night in the team competition. Iowa was tied for second coming into this last rotation with Alabama. Alabama had an incredible final rotation on bars, finishing 9.95.10 and 9.975.
Sam, it's actually a school record for Alabama with that bar rotation going 49.675. That is huge score. With the championship tradition of Alabama to have a school record, that's big. That's a big score.
It really speaks to the competitiveness of this Alabama team too. Heading into that last rotation, having lost the lead, that's, if you're a coach, I gotta think that's exactly the way you'd want to see your team respond.
Absolutely.
This is our final gymnast competing right now at Kinlan. We're still waiting on Turner's score to come in to confirm who's going to finish second.
Short landing on that double pike. The entire team a little concerned about Steinmeier, but the show must go on. They have to finish out the competition, and I think they did a good job closing out the meet as a team. Put up a big score.
Comes in at 9.875. So, therefore, it will be Arkansas finishing second. Alabama will win this day session. So Alabama and Arkansas, the two seeded teams out of the SEC, will move on to the regional final tomorrow night. It's certainly not a surprise when you see the results, but the way we got here was a surprise.
Yeah, it was a kind of a bumpy road. Both of these teams, as we've kept mentioning, were opening the door for some of these other teams, for Iowa State to possibly, make a move to earn one of those spots. But when it's all said and done, they did what I'm sure Coach Duckworth and Coach Weber want them to do. They rose to the occasion and got the job done, and will be competing in the final tomorrow. So good for Alabama and Arkansas in that situation. They've got to be proud.
And we have one more individual to go on the floor, but just as we talked about how Alabama responded heading into that rotation, Arkansas responding this entire session. I mean, this was an Arkansas team that was really disappointed in the way they finished at the SEC in 7th place, and I think Coach Weaver did a great job of resetting and refocusing her gymnasts to be ready for this regional, and they responded today, and they now have a chance to continue their pursuit of making the national championship.
For sure, and just like Arkansas finishing strong like they did, Alabama with that historic bar performance, the last 3 Bama bar routines were career highs. I mean, at a regionals in the postseason, that's big time. It's good stuff.
There were 7 career highs put up in that 4th rotation across all the teams.
Having fun with this routine. Really great tumbling. Powerful athlete, 1.5 twist, front layout, good landing there. Always nice to see a smile.
Floor routines have gone viral all season this year.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff out there.
Yeah, it's become a big showpiece of gymnastics.
They have themes and stories to tell throughout the dance. So yeah, you're right. It's kind of become a thing, and every year it seems like we've got another routine that goes viral, like you said.
Well, we know our 2 winners from the afternoon session that will advance into the regional final tomorrow. Alabama winning the day session, followed by Arkansas. They're the 2 teams that will advance. We have another individual that will compete here on the floor. Alabama's coach Dana Duckworth in her 7th season, and then Jordan Weber in her 2nd season.
Let's believe all eyes are going to be on this last performer. She tries to put together a solid floor performance. Since they're in the rotation with Iowa State, they're definitely going to be cheering her on to close this out. Waiting for her music.
Hard to hold that pose.
Do over, do over.
How awkward is that for a gymnast when something like that happens? Does it throw you off?
I would say depending on the gymnast and depending on the level of experience. For a rotation like floor, probably not so much. You see she kind of smiled there, was laughing a little bit, more relaxed. Now, if it happened on like bars or balance beam, probably a little bit more nerve-wracking, I would say. That's just my personal opinion. But we'll see how she handles it here. Hopefully they can get the music going right for her this time. What do you think the story there was? Looking in the mirror, right? Expect to see some big tumbling. Saw her warm up, and that is a true gymnastic stick, folks. You saw she did not move. She didn't step back to lunge out of it. Her feet stayed together, and she got a good landing. So that little extra time with the music helped her there on that first pass. We'll just stay there.
And this is the last individual performer not part of one of the 4 teams competing to get to the regional final tomorrow.
Switch side. Strap full. She's having so much fun out there right now. Front layout, intended. That combination pass. Good form as well throughout. What a fun routine.
Yeah, that was a good way to end the day. And all the teams watching this last performer, nobody's left.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our competition results.
The most supportive anybody. So Alabama has won this afternoon session. They will head into the regional final tomorrow. Jordan Weaver's Jimbacks, as they call themselves, the Razorbacks, the number 10 seed, heading into the regional final tomorrow. As we look back on some of the impressive routines they put up.
Yeah, Ellswick on vault, 9-9, huge amplitude, lots of great distance. You see the block she gets off the horse, gets her all that height. And then how about a perfect 10? Yes, please. Kari Doggett went 10.0 on this bar routine. And I said it as I was watching it live. It looked pretty good to me. I knew it would be a good score. It turns out it was a 10. You can see no deductions throughout. Watch this last handstand. Perfect. Exactly what the judges are looking for. Double layout dismount, and bam, the exclamation point at the end to go 10. So very, very exciting.
Finishing 9.95, 10, and 9.975. Okay, so let's turn our attention to tonight at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We'll have Oklahoma, Missouri, and Maryland. What are your thoughts on that evening session, actually?
I think it's going to be exciting. You know, obviously we've got Auburn that's not going to be there, but Maryland got into that session with a nail-biter performance. They had to really be solid on the balance beam to do it. So I think it's going to be exciting. You can expect Oklahoma to do what Oklahoma does, and it'll be probably a toss-up to see how Missouri and Maryland fare for that second spot.
So Alabama and Arkansas advance to the regional final. We'll do this all over again tonight, and featuring Oklahoma, the defending national champion. I'm Ashley Knowles-Grieve, and I'm Sam Gore. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Come back in a few hours and rejoin History Being Pursued.